Well, if there can be no arrangement, then we are at an impasse.
I'm afraid so. I can't compete with you physically, and you're no match for my brains.
You're that smart.
Let me put it this way. Have you ever heard of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates?
Yes?
Morons.
Really?
Welcome to Morons Mince Movies. I am your host, Moron Sam Munoz, and I'm here with my only moron friend of 20 years later.
I called it. I called it.
Peñalosa.
You could have said my friend that I've met when we were kids, and here we are, 28 years later.
God damn it, that was good.
But no.
That's my new shtick now. Since Arturo's not here for me to make up nicknames, I'm just gonna fuck them all up, and you're gonna come up with better ones.
Awesome. All right, no pressure.
That's gonna be
no pressure at all.
All right. So we're here. Morons.
Guess what movie we're mincing today?
We are mincing 28 years later.
Yeah.
A sequel to 28 weeks later, which was a sequel to 28 days later.
Which was a prequel to 1 month.
Yeah.
It was a very short story. It was just titled 1 month.
It was February.
Yeah.
Anyways, so so this is 28 years later, directed by Danny Boyle, who directed the first one, and written by Alex Garland, who wrote the first one. I'm not sure if he wrote the second one, but I know it was not Danny Boyle who directed the second one, 28 weeks later.
Oh, it wasn't.
It was not. It was someone else who directed the second one. But I'm not sure Alex Garland co-wrote that. I think he might have. But either way, let's get into it. Let's get into it right away. I'm interested to hear your opinion on this.
Oof.
Should I go first or you go first?
You go first.
All right. General thoughts.
Change it up.
So here's the thing. I was really into this movie. I thought it was fantastic.
Uh-oh.
Up until something happens in the movie about 2/3 into the movie where I was just like, what the fuck? This is ridiculous.
Okay, save it.
So in the end, I think 28 years later is a good movie, but it really goes off in the end. And this seems to be a theme of this year. I don't know, like this year has been, for me at
Third
least,
acts.
like the endings of movies have really disappointed me. And this is the same thing. Like
Really?
And up until this thing happens, which we'll talk about later, I was like loving it. I loved the horror aspects of it, everything that was going on with the zombies / infected.
Not zombies.
They're not zombies, but
Yeah.
although for the first time they do get mentioned as zombies, I don't think in any of the other movies does anyone actually refers to them as zombies. So in the end, I think it's a good movie, but it has some major flaws that really took me out of the movie. Where I was like, God, why did they even do this? It was unnecessary. But we'll get into it. What are your thoughts?
I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about that because I genuinely enjoyed the entire movie.
Really?
It was,
wow.
It was a level of anxiety that I don't think, and this is big, viewers, for me to say that it was level of anxiety that I don't think I've ever reached before. And I'm an anxious person. I don't know if you've picked up on that, but I am an anxious person.
I didn't. I've never. You've always been so calm.
I know.
Usually, never afraid of anything. You know.
I pull it off. I don't plan things. I let the wind decide where I go. But for this movie, man, my anxiety was just up there from the get-go. It starts off with fucking Teletubbies. So right off the back, I was like, what is this fucking horror shit that I'm watching? I'm out. Fuck today's episode.
There was a baby as a son.
No.
It was monstrous.
It was horrific. But overall, I enjoyed the movie. I had a good time, and I cannot wait to mince it with you.
Well, let's get into the mincing here. So, do you want to go from beginning to end, or should we just kind of like go into parts that we want to talk about? I will say at the beginning was great. Like the beginning part, so it starts off not 28 years later, but 28 years before. 28 years earlier.
Correct. Yes. So 20 years is the prequel to the sequel.
28 years.
The middle
it starts out 28 years earlier, and we're with this family in Scotland, and it's a lot of kids.
Yeah, but it's from part 2, right?
No. These people are not in any of the other movies.
That's not true.
They're not in any of the other movies.
That's not true.
What are they? They're not in 28 weeks. What are you talking about? This is a completely different
I feel
family.
like I've seen.
No.
And I want to even say that's why the footage was grainy and not in your
That's
standard.
been the style of all the movies.
No,
Yes.
dude. Look, we're gonna rely on our producer Noel, who is here today.
Who is in the 28 weeks? Yeah, producer Noel is here. Thank God.
What do you have to say, Noel? Oh, yep, there he is. That's how you know he's here is when you hear the cat opening.
When you hear the cat opening.
It's that scene. It's that scene of just the kids watching the TV show.
It's not from the barn. The barn scene from 28 weeks. Is that what you're talking about?
I want to say
No.
Listen, all I know is that prior to this movie coming out, I remember seeing that specific scene where the kids are watching Teletubbies and the mom comes in and she's worried and she's like, shut the fuck up and watch this show. And the kids are crying and you just hear the clatter. But you know what? I might be wrong.
I don't remember that at all. I don't remember that from any of the other movies. What
Yeah.
the hell was that?
We're in
Fireworks.
Anaheim, so you might hear explosions in the background. It's just fireworks.
They didn't hear any of
Yeah,
that.
no.
Only us. But anyways,
Yeah, I could have sworn that was from a previous movie, but okay.
So-
if I was wrong, then I was wrong. But
so we get a scene where the infected are attacking a family, and there's a lot of kids.
That's where my anxiety started,
And
man.
I agree with you. In terms of how this movie is able to build the suspense and anxiety, all of that is great. And
Yeah.
this whole scene is great. And you have this kid who ends up escaping from the house and going to the church. Apparently, his father is a priest, but he's a little crazy, and he's like praying in church by himself while his family is being fucking massacred. I guess he doesn't believe in birth control either because there was a ton of kids, and all the kids get massacred.
I mean, they are in Ireland, so
Yeah,
you know,
it's Scotland.
It's Scotland.
It's Scotland. It's
Yeah,
Scotland
that's
Islands.
true. Sorry.
And so the kid goes there, and the priest is like, "Oh, this is the reckoning. This is the revelations or whatever. All this crap."
He's totally fucking stoked. He's like,
motherfucker, this is it. We're finally we are being judged." And the kids all like, "What the fuck's going on?" And,
Kids all
and
like,
the
"You
priest,
son of a bitch."
the priest is like, "Here, take this cross. Don't forget about me." And then the infected come and
the kid hides under this like fucking sewer railing thing, and
and
the priest dad just gets fucking attacked. Which, how did the priest become a father? I wasn't sure about that one because I was like, "Aren't you a Catholic priest?"
Yeah, I didn't understand any of
Maybe
that.
they were just calling him dad.
It didn't really matter.
Regardless, it ends there.
That's pretty, and we don't really get to see this kid until later. Way
forward.
later.
Well,
28 years later, to be exact.
Damn, that was good. Oh, that was beautiful. Yes, 28 years later, it flashes forward after this scene.
And apparently, the UK has been quarantined from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
They don't really. One thing is, at the end of 28 weeks later, we have this outbreak that happens in Paris, apparently. At the end of it, if you remember the end of 28 weeks later.
I do.
And so, but in this movie, you just get some like explanation. The continent has managed to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Cleanse?
Not cleanse, but beat the virus. I don't know. Okay,
Yeah.
beat the infected. So the rest of the
Beat off
continent
the virus.
is fine, it seems. But the UK, the British Islands, have been quarantined off. And everyone who's stuck in the British Islands, well, sorry, you're on your own. And the rest of the countries, the rest of Europe is just basically patrolling the waters of Britain to make sure no one gets out. There's this community that happens to be on an island within the British Isles, and that's where we get to meet our main character, whose name is Spike.
Spike, yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
The little kid.
I was worried.
But that is not the kid from the prelude.
Not. It's 28 years later.
Yeah. Of
Would
course,
it be the same kid?
Of course.
I didn't think he was the same kid from the opening.
No. But the
I
dad.
did think his dad, played by Steven Tyler Jones. He has 3 names.
He has 3 names.
I should know this. Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Thank you.
I was close.
Gang.
Thank you. His name is Jamie, the character Jamie.
Also known as he was in Nosferatu. He was in
Craven.
He was Craven. That's
he's in
right.
Nosferatu?
Motherfucker. Yes,
He's the husband of the other wife.
Husband who loses it at the end. Yeah. He's in Nosferatu. He was he played what's his face in the Marvel universe. Anyway, Quicksilver.
That's for
That's where Arturo would have come in. Arturo would have right away been like,
he would have been the guy
all
from
the comic
this
book
superhero.
reference. Yeah, he was also in the other one with the kid.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
So we
he
have
plays
this
the dad. I thought he was the kid
So did I.
from the opening scene.
So did
and I
I.
think they did that intentionally. I think they meant for you to think,
believe that was
this
it.
kid
Yeah.
grew up to now live on this island and he has his own family. Good for him.
Yes.
He overcame that trauma of seeing his priest father mauled by these walkers.
And the things that happen during the movie feel more justified when you think that that's the same kid.
Yes.
Because you think like, yeah, he would be like that now.
Overprotective and super prepared. And
and like
tough,
you
know?
have to be
you have to be
I know
ready.
you're only 12 years old, but I'm gonna take you
gotta
to
be
kill
ready.
some fucking infected.
Yeah, and that's what nice
And
segue. Sam.
and that's basically the premise of the movie,
Yeah.
which you have this father and son duo here, and they're living in this community, which is in an
Commune.
island.
Yeah, it's a nice little commune.
And they use the water as a way to protect themselves, right?
Yep.
Yes,
if I may, I
go for
really,
it.
and I know we're limited on time, I really want to focus on how they kind of showed you how this island is functioning as a community without really going into too much time.
Yeah,
Like there wasn't
They
exposition.
did it really well. Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of exposition. It was just kind of scenes where it showed maybe there's a farmer, maybe there's a guy who's, sewing clothes or whatever. And you kind of, as the viewer, you're like, oh, that's how they're surviving. They are now dependent on each other. Some raise animals and some are in charge of protection and some are in charge of hunting. But they all seem to get along. They all seem to be cool with each other. Right away, within the first few minutes. Yeah, there you go. There's a scene where it shows all the different jobs that you would have.
Thank
in
you.
This
Thank you, Noel. Make sure you put that in the back.
Yeah, so there's a seamster and there's a hunter and there's a builder and it's
counselor.
Counselor. Very well thought out. And it seems to be working.
I mean, it's been
Everyone
28
seems to
years,
be
so
happy.
they should have thought of something by now.
Yes. I'm glad that it wasn't like everything is still chaos 28 years later.
Yeah.
No.
So the main thing here, going back to the dad and son, because that's who we really follow here, and you do get this sort of idea of how the town works as they're having breakfast and they're walking through the town, and a guy makes them the bow and everything like that.
Yes.
So
He's older.
they're crossing into the mainland, right? And then at low tide, there's this
If I may.
bridge. Go for it.
Because it comes up later. We introduce the wife, the mom.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
she's a
thank
major
you.
part of this
Good.
because as they're preparing for his day of the kids.
It's like a bar
Spike's.
mitzvah.
It's like a Bart's mitzvah.
A bar mitzvah.
Bart's bar.
It's a
party.
a passage. It's a ritual for passage to manhood, basically
Minus
within
the
this community.
circumcision.
Yeah,
So
minus the circumcision.
it's the passage of like you are now becoming a functioning member of our society.
You gotta go kill
pick
some-
up a bow
kill
and-
some
and-
infected.
yeah. So
Yeah.
he goes with his dad, and before they leave, they visit the mom who's upstairs. She's in pain, and she seems out of it. And as a viewer, you're like, "What is this? What's going on? Is she
Yes.
Is she infected? Is she just fucking losing it?" You don't know, and they don't really tell you. You just see that she's unwell. Her memory is not the greatest. She asks about Spike going to school, and they have to remind her like, no, remember we told you we're not going to school today. It's his first day going over to the mainland, and she fucking loses it.
Yes.
She's like, you said what, mainland?
You're such a
No,
cunt.
Yeah.
You're a cunt. There was like at least 6 or 7 cunts.
That's why I thought she was infected, because right after hearing the news, she's like, you fucking baby killer. He's only a baby. You're trying to kill our baby.
You're trying to murder
fucking
our son.
Baby killer. And I was like, whoa, dude, is that how all Scottish people talk? The fact is, yes. That's how
who's
most
the
of them
actress that played her? She's actually a very famous actress. Thank you, Noel. What is it? It's not
Rocco
showing. It's
Haynes.
not showing there.
Nope, that's the
It's
kid.
not showing there.
Anyway,
Yeah,
mom,
the
she does a good job.
Fantastic job.
Kim Allen?
Probably. So
No, that's
Jimmy's
Jimmy's mom. No. We're looking for Spike's mom. Yeah,
Anyway.
it's Comer. Something Comer, right? God damn it, Comer. It's something Comer, right? Go up, scroll up. Jodie Comer. There you go. Jodie Comer.
That's what I was gonna say. That was gonna
Jodie
be my
Comer.
next guess.
Sorry, Jodie Comer. Oh.
So she's sick, and like you can see Spike is like, fuck man, this sucks. And you can see Dad also being like, oh shit, it is what it is. Let's go.
Yeah,
Come on, son.
the dad is more of like
He's used to it.
frustrated with it, and
Yeah.
I think
He's tired, man. I
yeah,
felt for him.
he's
dude.
done with the wife in a way.
But good for
she's
him
clearly
for still
sick.
being there. Yeah, no,
Well-
she's sick. She's bedridden. We'll find out about that later. But he is still there. He's still supporting her, getting her blankets and towels and fetching food for her. So they leave on his first expedition. And
Yeah.
this is where you get more glimpse of the community. You get the leaders who are there to see them off. You get the builder who made a new boat for him. And,
Yes.
and everyone's excited to send them off. And they leave. And the way they leave from this island, which I thought was very cool, is
It was cool.
the high tide and the low tide. When there's a low tide, it reveals this
Bridge.
walkway, this bridge from the island to the mainland. And it's only accessible when it's low tide. When it's high tide, you can't cross it. And if you try to cross it, the tide will take you out to sea and you'll be lost at sea a la Gilligan's Island.
That's right.
So they have to be very careful with how they plan their expeditions.
Yes.
And they go out there, and you're like, the anxiety was just nonstop for me,
This
man.
whole part from here I thought was fantastic. The acting, the kid, by the way, is he's a great actor.
He is.
Everybody,
He pulled it off.
The acting is good here all around. And this whole scene where you get to see the first zombies or infected is interesting. The first one you see is these like fat crawling,
Blob.
like these, and then they didn't
Reminds me
really.
of the Emperor from the movie with the sandworms. What was it?
The me with the sand.
The
Oh,
movie with the
Dune.
Dune. There you go. It's been so long, I can't remember the name.
The Baron, you mean?
It reminds
Yes.
me of the Baron.
Yes,
yeah.
but they're naked.
And they're
Which
crawling.
was a touch that I quite enjoyed.
I know.
All the infected are
All
naked.
of the infected are naked.
Which
because
makes
clothing-
sense.
Yep.
Which makes sense. Why would
wouldn't
they
be
care
out there
about
changing.
clothes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
only that, but
You're
the
always
clothes would have
wondering-
disintegrated. If
Yeah, you're always wondering, like, why are the
28
zombies
yeah.
always closed? But they
is
were like,
true.
fuck it, we're going all out with the realism.
In the buff.
naked, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh,
In
the
buff.
men, women,
They're all
it's
birthday-
beautiful.
They're all wearing their birthday suits.
So then you have this fat fucking infected that are these fat ones that are crawling and they try to eat
They're
the
just
worms from
bloated.
I don't know what they explain why they're fat, but I can't remember exactly what the explanation was.
I do remember that they explained.
Yeah,
it.
because the kid even asked like,
Yeah,
why they're so
was that one
fat.
so fat?
Yeah. But anyways, they use the fat one as target practice for the little kid.
It's his ritual. It's
Yeah,
his,
it's
this
the
is your
first
first
one.
kill.
This is your first kill.
It's
Yes.
an easy one. He's going slow, but he even tells him, don't be too confident on the speed, because even though they're crawling and they're fat and they're slow, they can still just fucking pick it up and attack. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Bart. When he's like, I wash my back with a rag on a stick.
Yes.
That's what that was the first thought that came to mind.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, they encounter
If you can find
this-
that clip, you gotta put it back.
Yeah. It's just Bart washing his back with a rag on a stick. That's what it reminded me of, because that's what it looked like.
But unbeknownst to them, there's like a family.
Yeah,
And,
it was a family. Of
It's like a
blobs.
family of fat infected zombies or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like as the kid is trying to
He's
aim for
aiming,
this
he's
other one
steadying
that's
his
crawling
hands.
there,
Yep.
there's another one coming from behind, and it kind of takes him by surprise, and then a bit of a chaos ensues where the dad kind of takes over. The kid does shoot at
he gets a really
kills-
good kill.
Yeah, he
really
gets a
clean
good
shot
kill.
right in the jugular.
Yeah, and then the other zombies he starts coming. So the dad takes over, shoots the other zombies, and there's a kid. There's two fat little kids,
Right.
fat little kid zombies, and then there's one that he lets go because
Yeah.
I guess here I don't know
Felt
what.
bad for him, I guess.
Yeah, I think
They
so.
never explained it. He points the arrow straight at him, and the baby person thing is just like,
They're not persons. They're not
Yeah.
persons.
yeah, he's just like, and then he puts the arrow down, and he's like, and he runs away.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
you never really see
that's
him again.
exactly how it happened.
Yeah,
That's exactly
voiceover acting, I'm there for it. But yeah, and you're like, okay, cool. He got his first kill. They start exploring more. They find this. Oh, this is where they find the huge herd of deer. And they're just they. I think he even tells them they move in herds. Yeah,
And he says they do
Because
move in herds.
They do move in herds, and they're admiring the beauty of all this deer. And all the meanwhile, my anxiety was still fucking 11 out of 10 because I was like, get your fucking shit. You did what you needed to do. Bounce the fuck out of there. Your ability to go back home depends entirely on water being low enough. How in the fuck do you take your time now? Like, get the fuck out of there. But they don't.
Well, they're going exploring. They want to go find some stuff to take back to the village and everything. And that's when they run into a group of zombies infected. I don't know if it's offensive to the 28 years later people to call them zombies.
Yeah, that's why I hesitate. When I'm about to say zombies, I stop and I catch myself. Keep saying I'm like, I know for 28 years they didn't want you calling them that. Yes. Now here we are 28 years later.
They're still arguing.
And we're still talking about what you call them.
And so they run into this group, and this is where we first meet the Alpha. Apparently, infected have evolved. A lot of this is not explained, which is fine. I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I assumed.
There seems to be that some of the people who get infected don't go full zombie.
No. I saw them as
they don't
the
go
gym
full
bros.
retard, basically.
I saw them. You never go full retard.
So these zombies, these specific alpha zombies, alpha infected, are smart. They're smart enough to...
they're alphas in every sense of the word.
Yeah, they lead
the
group.
to Joe Rogan's podcast.
That's true.
They're dominant when they walk in.
Yeah,
they watch Fight Club, and they're like, we're the alpha males. You know, I don't ask, I tell.
And they're also a lot stronger. They're
smarter.
very Jason Momoa. Like I think one of them was played by Jason Momoa.
It could have been very well. Yeah,
I felt like, judging by the penis, I felt that it might have been Jason Momoa.
At first, I was confused. I was like, why do the alphas have 3 legs? I don't understand that. Where did they evolve to have 3 legs?
Yes.
And then the camera zoomed in, and I was like, no, it's not a leg.
No,
that is not a leg. There's tripod for a reason.
Yes, giant penises on those alphas.
They were distracting to say the least. I'm sure
anyways,
it was for you.
So
they take shelter into this home.
Yes, and so this becomes more chaotic. The kid is put to the test where he's trying to shoot at these faster zombies.
Now they're under pressure,
and but he can't really take shots. The dad really takes over this time, kills a few of them. They go and hide in this roof thing to get away from them because they're running out of arrows. Their only weapon, by the way, is an arrow. We forgot to say that.
Yeah,
they don't have guns, obviously.
Of course. It's been 28 years.
They have to wait overnight. They go to sleep. And you get, during this whole time, by the way, you do get these cutaways of dreamlike scenes and everything.
From Spike.
Yeah, from Spike.
Yeah.
But also this like documentary footage, right, of like medieval times of people shooting arrows. You remember that?
I thought it was Monty Python at the beginning.
No.
I was like, I'm waiting for him to be like, just put a scratch.
It was a little weird, and I was like, okay, whatever. But I kind of liked it. All of this, great.
Yeah.
Let's speed up a little bit because I want to get to the
real
part.
Fast. This is where they have someone hanging upside down. This is a very pivotal part of the movie.
That's right.
In this house where they decide to take shelter, there is an infected. Oh, let's call him that. Let's call him infected.
That's what we've been calling.
What?
I said
There's an infected hanging upside down. He's got a plastic bag wrapped around his head, and he's still alive. There's a crow picking at his fucking guts, which was gross as fuck, but.
A lot of gross out horror. It was good.
He's like, why would someone do this? And the dads are like, there's some sick fucking people out there, you know? What are you going to do? You got to kill him. And on his body of this person hanging upside down is carved the word Jimmy.
Yeah.
Which I thought, I wonder what they're going to do with that.
I didn't even know that it was Jimmy until later. I remember, and then I thought back, that's a Jimmy. I thought it said Timmy.
Yeah, I thought it was. Listen, for me, it was either Timmy.
Is Charles Dickens?
Jimmy, or it was Blimey. I was like, they are across the pond, so it might be Blimey, but it turned out it was Jimmy.
But again, the kid has a hard time killing this.
The dads are like, fucking do it, kill him, shoot him, shoot her,
yes.
shoot her, and the kid hesitates and. He ends up breaking free from his hanging position, and the dad has to step in and kill him.
Yes, again.
And then that's where that scene ends. And the kid's like, dude, I'm sorry, I fucked up. And the dad's like, no, dude, you did great, man. You were at least able to shoot your fucking arrows. You didn't hit anybody, but at least you shot. You know, other adults didn't even get an arrow out. So you're good, don't worry about it. They go to sleep. They wake up the next day.
Yeah, and they make their way. Yeah, they got to make their way back.
Yeah.
So they kind of wait out the zombies for them to clear out, and they try to make their way back. But as they're making their way back, the bridge hasn't entirely shown up yet. The tide is low, but not low enough for it to be visible.
It's shin deep, I think.
Yeah, it's shin deep. And so they like, fuck it, we got to get through it. And they're walking, and they're all like, oh, we're going to be fine. And
everything's going to be all right.
And then you see from the distance the alpha male with
he's fucking sprinting.
Yeah, he's going full
speed.
Dick flopping incredible rate
everywhere. Because of his, I think he uses it
going
as,
side to side.
He uses it as a mode of transportation at one point. Like he just hops on it and just fucking rides that sucker down.
I believe so.
I was like,
he didn't want to get his feet wet.
It's multi-useful. Yeah, he has 5 horsepower to the gallon, and you can get 12 miles to the gallon on that hog. Still room for another if you want to make it to Aspen.
So the alpha is chasing them. They're like they stop in the middle because they're having a bit of a conversation or whatever.
They're having a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, and then they see this fucking guy. You know,
sprinting. No, it's sprinting. The birds. The birds gives them away.
Oh yeah, the birds. That's
all
right.
The crows or bats, whatever the fuck it is.
Crows are having a field day in this world because
Yeah.
they have all the dead meat they can eat.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, so they're running, and then they start running. I was like, oh, we got to get back. And they're screaming, and he's blowing his whistle and all that shit. And
Open the gates. Open the gates.
Yes.
And then they're not opening the gates because there's precautions in place.
Yes.
They're like, no, we'll shoot arrows at what's following you, but we're not going to open the gates until we know you're fucking good. Mm-hmm. And like they have to duck to avoid the arrows. And because he's an alpha, a regular barrage of arrows doesn't do shit. It just stops him slightly.
Yeah, but
and then
he keeps
going.
running.
And you're like, there's this moment of like, are they going to fucking make it or not? And they even shoot this huge harpoon, flaming arrow.
Well, that's when they finally kill him.
That's when
they
kills
shoot
him,
the harpoon. Yeah.
But they're still not opening the door. And he's like, open the door. And I like how they did the flashes of the welcome back party before any of this happened.
Yeah, that was great.
So as they're like starting to make their way across the bridge, you start seeing that the village has already started making these welcome back party banners, and they get the table set up. And you're not sure as a viewer if that's going to be a party where the main hosts don't show up, or if it's going to be a party with them. What's happening? Is this in real time? And then at the very end, when they finally open up the doors for them, they cut to the actual party, and you see dad and son have already been there. They've already had a few drinks. They're already giving the speech of all the shit that happened, and there's a bit of lying on dad's part.
The dad is exaggerating and saying like, oh, he did such a great job and he killed everyone. He killed all the zombies. So I want to get into something here because this is a good, I think, transition point. I want to talk about because all of this I loved. Honestly, up until
going
this
out
point,
there, the hunting your first.
Up until this point, you have the party and everything that even happens at the party. I loved it.
Yeah,
everything was great. At this point, this was like an A+ movie for me. I loved the style.
Nice.
We haven't talked about the style.
No, the style,
which was great. The
increases the anxiety.
The weird kills that happened, which not in terms of what the kills what's going on with the kill. I mean, they're just getting an arrow through the head, but it's like this weird cutting thing.
Oh yeah, it does like a rapid
Yeah. It's almost like a matrixy thing. Apparently they did this whole iPhone rig or something.
Oh, that's where it happened.
Yeah.
I remember reading about the fact that they were using actual iPhones to record all of the movie or some of the scenes.
Some of them, I think.
That makes sense.
And doing a rig. It's a rig where it kind of like a Matrix thing where it just goes.
It's a bunch of phones.
Yeah. So these kills that happen, they do these weird cuts and stuff, and it's kind of jarring and everything. I mean, the whole Danny Boyle style is, if you've seen 28 Days Later, it's a similar style, but it's a lot more.
In your face.
A lot of fast cutting again, which is Slumdog Millionaire has that same kind of thing. And I loved all that. I love this style. I love him as a director and how he did it.
Then
everything.
Transitions?
So going from here on is where it starts to go down, in my opinion.
All right, let's summarize
and
it.
So I'll try to get into it. So the kid sees his dad cheating on his mom. He's drunk and everything. There's a young lady who's like, come over here. sees that, he gets pissed,
Yeah.
goes back running. He's sort of pissed at the fact that the dad lied to everybody about what really happened over there, kind of
Also,
exaggerating all that stuff.
yeah. He had his first drink that night
Yeah.
as well, and so that I'm sure is adding to
Yeah.
his thoughts.
Yes. He goes back to the house. He's got his grandfather there. He
Now,
talks to his
There was
grandfather.
something that we didn't mention while they're in the mainland, and I'll make
Yes.
it quick so I can segue back into
Well, I
the
was going
story.
to mention it here
Oh,
because
okay, go for it.
because when they were in the mainland,
Nice.
they saw a fire in the distance. So he tells his grandpa about the fire that they saw.
Yes.
Right? And the
Off
dad,
in
he
the
tells
distance.
him like the dad didn't say anything. They don't know what it is. And the grandpa is the one who tells him that it was Dr. Kelso.
Yes.
Right?
Dr.
What was
Kelsey?
it- What was his name? Is it Dr. Kelso?
Kelsey.
Something like that. Anyways, this doctor, so this really intrigues the little kid because of the mom who we talked about is
Is
sick.
Yes.
We don't
And
know
this
what it is.
this whole time, Dad has been telling him that she'll get better, or we don't know what it is.
Yeah,
There's
they don't
no way
know
of
what it
helping
is.
her.
They say they don't know.
And
Yeah.
so the kid finds out, motherfucker, you knew of this doctor this whole time. You
Yes.
know mom is sick.
Yes.
And you never fucking made an effort to go, do you even love mom?
Yeah, it was just like that.
It was tough.
Yes,
It was tough.
It reminds me of your wife's estranged father, who I just heard about was kind of a whore.
There is complications, yes.
But that's another story. Who knows when that story was told to me? We have been recording
It's
this
been so
nonstop.
long, man. This is you gotta. It's like a Christopher Nolan movie now.
Yes, yes.
You gotta figure out when was filmed when.
Anyways, so the son, the kid, Spike, as we his name is,
Spike.
he decides I want to come up with a plan. I'm going to take my ma and I'm going to take her to the mainland and find this cure from this doctor.
Man.
This doctor's going to see
That's
that.
where I got frustrated with this fucking movie.
That's where you got frustrated.
That's where I got frustrated because there's always a stupid choice from a stupid person.
My wife agrees with you.
that
She was
fucks up the movie. Like,
well,
what the fuck? As a 12-year-old who knows what's out there, I get it. You love your mom.
Yeah.
I get it. Your mom is sick
trying
and
to
you want to
save,
find
trying
out.
to save it.
But that's your first go-to? Like, not trying to talk to other adults and being like, yo,
Yeah, you're right.
there's a doctor out there. Can you help me set something up? Can you talk to my dad? Let's figure something out so that we can go out there and find this doctor. His first fucking instinct is, let's sneak out of here. Let's fucking sneak out of this island and just fucking risk everything and go to the mainland. And
yes,
that's what they do.
yes. My wife agrees with you. She
Thank
was
you, Lori.
was like, this is
Glad
so
to
dumb.
hear
And
me
then
and you would survive in this apocalypse.
and then what ends up happening is it's I kind of forgave the movie a little bit here because I guess there has to be some conflict, some way
guess.
for them to get on the other side, right? I think you could have just maybe made a story where some other reason to get to the other side. But
it could have
but
been
anyways,
medicine.
yeah.
It could have been medicine.
Yeah.
I would've
Something
been
like
okay
that.
with that.
But anyways, so somehow this community, which is heavily guarded, is tricked by this kid because
No, they're
It
not
gets-
easily.
it
They're
gets-
not somehow. He sets fire.
he sets a fire
To a
to one of the
fucking hut.
buildings. Yeah, and tells everybody, you guys gotta go.
There's a fire.
There's a
sale.
fire.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And they're all going with their buckets. They got the bucket system
the
there.
fire brigade shows
Yeah.
up.
Yes.
The
So
sirens
then
blazing, everything.
the kid sneaks his mom back into the mainland. They're gonna go find this doctor,
Yep.
and
They make it to the mainland, and things are relatively smooth for a while.
for a bit. Yeah,
I was like, okay, there doesn't seem to be any unexpected
he
zombies.
has his wits about him, and
Yeah.
he's actually like doing some killings.
He's more confident with
Yeah,
his
yeah.
arrowing. Yeah, no.
Yeah, except for
seems promising.
except for the one moment where they fall asleep, and
that shit fucking also.
and Fat
killed my
Bart
anxiety.
zombie comes crawling over again. Different Fat Bart zombie.
Yeah, it's another
Apparently,
one.
there's a lot of fat
A
people.
lot of them get to this point.
And we
yeah.
were very obese around the early 2000s, so I guess
You know what? The
there's a-
McDonald's survived on the island.
Yeah,
There's
no.
everything
They
else
just
went
kept
to shit.
They kept eating from the
But
fast
the
food.
McDonald's just survived, so they
After
had
they
access
finished
to
off the
these-
humans, like, oh, this
Yeah,
is a
I
McDonald's.
guess. After the humans, they're like, I guess McDonald's. The humans are gone, so let's do McDonald's. But yeah, there's another slob of a zombie,
and it's about to feed on poor Spike, and somehow the mom just wakes up and manages to go after it and kill it and everything like that.
I'm glad that you said somehow, because I also was like,
because in the scene as it's cutting away, they're both asleep and everything, and then you just have this last minute sort of save that happens, and
it's a very last
like the
minute
mom
save.
just like all of a sudden is like this awesome killer. I don't know if I don't know if there's something untold there that I just didn't get. But
I didn't
anyways,
get that part either. I was hoping they would explain it with something, but I guess it was just mom instincts.
She has episodes of clarity. I don't know.
Mom instincts kicked in. She says it later. She says they come in phases.
Yes. And she, throughout this whole trek to find the doctor, you have these moments where she has these episodes, and it gets very dreamlike.
She talks about her dad.
Yeah.
Calls the kid dad.
But let's get to the final things here,
please.
They end up being found by another Alpha and
Eric.
another crew.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the fucking
Eric,
soldier.
That's why there's not.
God damn it!
God damn it, Sam. Did we just watch this movie together earlier today?
Yeah.
So what happens is there's a quick moment where you cut to this military group. It's like 5 or 6 soldiers. They're escaping.
It just cuts.
It doesn't even show you how they got to where they are. It just cuts to 5 or 6 people in military uniforms trying to escape this army of infected. They all die except for one. He manages to escape.
Good old Eric.
And then you don't see anything of him.
Yeah.
Then you cut back to Spike and his mom. And they're in danger. They have to run fast. Oh, they see the Alpha. They see Alpha number 2.
And there's a group of there's his crew as well. The Alpha and his crew, his gang, because they run in packs.
This walk. They start snapping their fingers as they walk towards him slowly, a la West Side Story.
Yes, they're large cocks flopping in the distance.
That happens as well.
So they go into this like gas station or whatever, which apparently like the gas has been spilling in the gas station the whole time. Yeah, and so they go in. They're trying to escape this crew of zombies, and that's where Eric comes in and saves them. Let's speed over this because
okay, real quick.
What are we forgetting? The
fucking baby.
That happens later.
Because by the time Eric finds them, they already have the baby.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they
don't.
don't. You forgot.
There's a scene where he walks in.
Before the baby happens is what right after the baby happens is when Eric dies.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Yes,
you're right,
come on.
Okay,
come on.
I retract
let's get to the baby. Let's get to the baby since you brought it up, because this is where the movie gets ridiculous to me. This is where it lost me.
Oh, this is where
it lost me.
Yeah,
it was just ridiculous. First of all, they just show this pregnant, infected
let's
woman.
assume the viewers have seen the movie.
Of course, it's a spoiler review.
Let's just jump to having to explain.
It's a spoiler review.
So
they don't really explain what happened, and that's one of my thing is like, how is an infected person getting pregnant? First of all,
you assume she was pregnant before.
That's what I thought at the beginning. That's what I thought.
It had to have been that.
But wait, there's more. So when they find the pregnant infected, the mom just has this great idea. I'm gonna help it have its baby because it's going through labor.
Let me talk it through labor. Yeah,
it's
I can be a half-wife.
Labor. It's like and the infected doesn't know what's going on. It seems, and she's like, I'm gonna hold your hands.
Give it breathe. All I was needing was her to be like, breathe with me.
Speaking of half-wives or midwives, as we were talking, she became like the midwife to this zombie lady
who's giving birth.
Yeah, and the zombie at this moment is like, fuck it, I don't need to kill humans anymore. I'm just worried about my baby.
The pain of childbirth.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's too much for me to handle.
It's too much for her.
I will oversee my zombie killing need.
And I don't know what the writer director was thinking here, and if this was supposed to be horrifying, but to me it just felt so ridiculous, and it completely ruined the movie for me. And like I told you up before, the whole first half of the movie, A+. Second half of the movie, my God.
It dropped that much?
It dropped to maybe like a C or something. Well, in terms of like the halves I'm talking about. I'll give you the overall later.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, and so she has the zombie baby. The zombie baby comes up. It's not a zombie baby. It's not infected for some weird reason.
It's perfectly clean.
They have the baby.
The miracle of the placenta.
The miracle
Sam.
of the placenta, yeah.
They
According to
even
Doctor.
say it in the movie. Yes, Dr.
According-
Kelsana.
Dr. Kelson, whatever his name was.
Yeah, he says it, which makes sense if you think about it hard enough.
No.
If you pause the movie,
Because here's the problem. Here's the other problem.
Tell me.
So when the alpha comes in, so Eric, by the way, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you helping this fucking
the only man
zombie
who makes sense.
giving birth?
I
What's
was like,
going
yes,
on?"
Eric, thank you for
Yeah.
being the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Kill the fucking baby, kill the mom, and
Yeah,
get the
he
fuck
wants
outta
to
here.
kill. He wants to kill them both. They're trying to save the baby. The zombie, because of childbirth, passes out for a minute.
For a quick second.
That's how painful
it's just a
childbirth.
quick second.
I mean, they get shot by arrows and they just keep going, but this childbirth thing
Childbirth,
just knocks
no,
her
it's
out.
too much.
Is that how it? We have audience today.
No, yeah.
No.
Yes.
But anyways, I
Could
don't
you
want to.
confirm, does childbirth hurt?
Yeah,
This is what Sam wants
Oh
to
my
know.
god, they're
God.
coming in.
Oh,
They're coming
crap.
in.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it does hurt.
I don't know what
Yeah.
just happened.
She just hit us for that. But yeah,
Zombie mom
childbirth
just came in and
hurts so much that
And
it
knocked
makes
her-
you pass out for a split second.
they say that just as much as when a man gets sick, as they say.
Almost.
Almost,
It's
but-
comparable to when a man gets the flu.
Anyways,
Yeah.
we're going off in tangents again.
Are we?
But so here's the thing. So Eric ends up killing the zombie mom because the zombie mom wakes up from her little pass out
from her
thing
trance, and she's
and is
about
about
to
to
attack.
attack. And then Eric goes like, "Ah!" Shoots him, and then he's like, "You better fucking put that baby
that-
down. I'm
put the
gonna
baby down
fucking
so I
kill
can
the
kill it.
baby."
I'm gonna kill the
And
baby.
then they're like, "No, you're not killing the baby." And he's like backing away, and he's like, "Yeah." And then from out of nowhere comes the alpha and fucking rips his head off. It was fucking amazing. It was
Spine.
great.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was great. So that part was good. But then the alpha comes in. He's like about to attack these. He
Where's my
stops.
baby?
Yeah, he stops.
Yeah.
Looks at the baby mama. And
he
he's
picks
like
her up.
And yeah, and like
He
basically
legit
there's
picks her up. He's like, okay, babe, come on, let's go. You
There-
just gave
this-
birth, but let's go.
This is the other thing is like this scene makes it seem like these two copulated, which is if you don't know the scientific word for fucking.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was magic. Copperfield. Copulated.
So-
magic. But yeah.
So it gives that impression that they had sex and
Something
this
going on.
baby was born from two
Nah.
infected was made from two infected zombies.
No. They
That is
never
what's
said-
going on because
That's how you took it. The way
Well,
I took
he
it
has
was...
he has a face of remorse of like the
Yeah.
fact that this the baby mama has just died. I mean
Right.
that's no longer alive, and he's even
Right.
more pissed, and he goes after them even harder.
Yeah, but I felt like it wasn't implying that he gave birth or he made this child.
I
It
think
could
that
have
is what
been-
it is implying. I think it was implying that he was a dad.
It could have been that she became infected while pregnant and he noticed that or he sensed it and he took a liking to her and was like, you will be my wife now.
No, I don't think so. I think it was meant to say
Imply that he
this was
had
their
zombie
baby.
sex.
Yeah, I think they had zombie sex.
Immaculate conception.
Yeah.
Or that, yes, this could be a Star Wars Episode 1 thing where
Anyways,
the Force made him.
Let's move on from the baby. And from here on out, I fucking hated.
Oh, no.
It was just the thing is like the baby. First of all, every time you introduce a baby into a movie, and
Yeah.
you have zombies and shit, the baby is somehow all
Yes,
quiet.
Yes, I will say
It's
that
all
bothered
quiet,
me.
but even though there's like people are screaming and it's like
Yup,
and the
yup.
baby's just like sleeping.
Yeah, it's very important
It's
that,
like oh my god.
yeah, that takes me away. That takes me out of these movies as well because
And then obviously there's no milk for the baby, but the baby doesn't cry. That was more reason for it to be crying because it's hungry, and you know right from birth they
and
need.
it's in pain.
Yeah, nobody changes the baby throughout the whole time.
That's true.
Nobody.
I've seen
there's-
baby shits.
There's so many. Yeah, they shits
are-
right away.
Yep.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are
And by the
fucking
way,
gross.
he doesn't have a diaper. There's nothing. He's just been in this blanket. Blanket's
right.
always clean. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I was saying over the audience, is that there's also scenes. Oh, thank you.
They
Sorry.
can't hear. They can't hear from the thing. You don't
I
have
felt
to
like
scream.
they could.
You don't have to scream into this.
I feel like
Anyways,
I'm having
we're-
to scream over them.
All right. So
There was,
the,
look,
the baby stuff killed
Somehow
the movie.
without you two.
It killed it, and
there
it was
no-
unnecessary.
Yeah.
It was unnecessary because the baby ends up being nothing. It's never really in danger.
No.
It means nothing to the characters.
It's a reason. There's a
It's-
reason to keep going because of the baby. That's the way I saw it. I saw this as, oh, this is new life coming from something that
there
was
are other
once
kids in the
considered dead.
community. There's more reasons to keep going already in the community. The baby
Yeah.
makes no damn sense to the storyline. Well, it serves no purpose. There was no purpose to
You're right.
have that whatsoever and make this movie
I guess
completely
it gave it
ridiculous.
hope. It gave this look. We have heard that they are planning on coming out with more movies. To this
Oh
whole
God,
franchise.
I know the ending. Made it seem
implied,
that way.
Yeah, that there was gonna be more, and maybe this was just their way of doing that, which is,
I guess.
hey, let's introduce this possible
Yeah, and we'll get to the ending.
new chapter.
Let's speed up a bit. So they find the doctor who is played by Ralhp Fiennes, and he's great, by the way.
Voldemort. Yeah,
he's the one who
fucking
actually saved. Yeah, Voldemort actually saves him from the
Voldemort.
Alpha.
Yeah,
The Alpha had a name, by the way. You remember what he
Sam.
said? Was it Sam?
It was Sam.
Oh,
I
perfect.
called this one Sammy.
Because he looked just like me
Because he's
with
like,
his giant
'cause
cock.
It just makes no sense. No, I don't think. I think this one in particular was just very small.
No,
but
no,
yeah.
no. He had a giant
Yeah,
one for
it
sure,
was- I think it
flopping
was
everywhere.
Sammy.
Anyways,
Anyway.
so they meet the doctor. The doctor examines the mom.
Mom you
Figures
have cancer.
out she's got cancer.
cancer.
She's gonna die anyway.
Yep.
And they go through this whole ceremony where they knock out the kid through
That was
the
a bit morbid
morphine.
for me. A bit too much for me.
It was just like
You're giving a child the skull of his dead mom.
yes, and it's like
and be like, decorate my apartment, please.
again, all of this part gets ridiculous. I mean, the
Yeah.
Ralhp Fiennes has this whole monument or whatever, which is fine. He's kind of been
fine.
out there by himself. I guess
Voldemort.
that kind of makes sense that you would do something crazy like that. But then you have this whole scene where he basically, euthanizes his mom,
Yeah.
and he's just like, whatever. Oh yeah, give me the skull.
Yeah.
There's barely much emotion going on there. He's just like, oh, I'm just
there
gonna
could have
put
been
the
more.
skull up in the
Yeah.
top so you can see the sunrise
Yeah.
and everything.
You get to put it where you want to put it.
yeah.
Go pick
Oh
the best
my
spot
God!
for your mom's
It's
skull.
just so ridiculous and kind of. I didn't like the
mind it.
writing there. I
I didn't mind it as much, honestly. To be real with you, man, I was like, I didn't understand why a doctor would choose this, like being a doctor, and doing your whole oath. What do they call it? The oath that you do.
Yeah,
as a
you're not supposed to
doctor.
harm a
And you're
human.
supposed to always try to help. And then there's this island
I
where
get-
they need a doctor.
Yeah, and
There's
he's
an
just
island
out of
where
his.
there's kids and there's people, and he's like, no, I'm gonna choose to live my life on the island and just collecting bodies and skulls and doing a monument to, like, why? No, you see,
it would have been.
be,
It would have been cool to get a little bit more reason
Yeah.
as to why he's doing that, but.
yeah.
Anyways, they euthanize his mom. And then he just has a nice little stroke. Oh wait, the Alpha attacks again. I forgot about that.
That's
The Alpha
right.
attacks again.
Almost
but
kills Dr. Kelson.
Yeah, but the kid manages to morphine the
him.
Alpha again.
Yeah.
So the Alpha's just going to sleep.
He knocks out again.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
knocks
oh,
out
I'm tired of this.
this.
I'm bored of this. And he says it with a thick Scottish accent. He's and
And
he goes to
so
sleep.
yeah, and so then the kid goes back with the baby. This whole time, again, the baby is never fed, and the baby barely
And never
cries.
crying enough
It
to bring
doesn't.
attention.
It doesn't shit. No one changes. It's been a full 24 hours or more.
More at
because
least.
because the whole night happens, and then the next day,
28
and then by the
hours.
time he gets, it's been at least 2 days.
At least 28 hours.
Yeah, it was 28 hours later. And so he takes the kid back with a note, and then the dad, the community gets the kid. They read the note, and he's telling the dad, like, don't come looking for me yet.
Yeah.
I'll go back when I'm ready, because he wants to be out in the
Yeah.
Mainland to become a man or something.
As you're recapping this, Sam, I think
It sounds how ridiculous, right?
I think you're right, man.
Ridiculous.
It just seems it's.
Yeah, and so then the final scene. Finally, we get to the end here, where we finally get a little callback to the beginning, because he's being chased by Spike. He's on his own now. He's being chased by some zombies.
Yeah.
He stops at a barricade. He's like, he's to the back to his wall, whatever. He takes one final shot at one of the zombies, and then someone from behind who looks like he's been from the 1980s, and he's got bling and everything. He's been well dressed.
He just came from a breakdancing battle.
Yeah, his haircut is
Him and his
magnificent.
crew. Yeah, he's got the bling.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, that was a great shot."
Yes.
And then he's like, "Oh, can we take care of these other ones for you?" And then they proceed to have this
he calls in the Power Rangers.
Yes,
It's what happened,
and they're all
dude.
dressed in
At
colorful.
the very end, honestly, I legit was like, what the fuck? The Power Rangers showed up?
Yes.
They're all wearing, and I shit you not, audience, if you haven't watched this movie and you're watching this episode,
it's a spoiler review.
you're like, yeah, I know, but you're probably wondering, oh, they're just joking around. They're making a joke
they
about
all have
the Power
colorful
Rangers.
vests.
They all have their own unique color
Jacket
one
or
single
something.
piece outfit. There's a red one, and there's a green one, and there's a white one.
Yes.
And they proceed
To kick some
doing
ass.
these karate kung fu flips through the air.
With a great
Cool
soundtrack, by the
twist.
way. I love the song at
The
the end.
soundtrack was wild,
But it just completely the changed the
tone.
the tone of everything. I was like, what the
Yeah,
fuck is
man.
going on?
So it makes you wonder, like, okay, they're on the mainland, and there's Power Rangers. They're killing the infected, and then finally, when all of this passes, the main guy, you see that he has
the
this
cross.
jewelry. He has a cross that he hangs upside down.
Yes.
Isla, the infected guy that they found hanging upside down in that one cabin earlier in the movie.
the cross is a callback to the cross that the priest gave him.
Priest kid. Yeah,
So this is the same
kid.
kid at the beginning, and his name is Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
You get that when they talk to him and they call him Jimmy or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's when it all makes sense. That's when you're like, oh, Jimmy was the child at the beginning of the movie
Yes.
watching Teletubbies who survived.
And it was not the dad, and it was never, and he
not-
just comes out at the end.
just at the end.
And then the movie ends.
And then it ends. Yeah.
And that's it. That's 28
that's
years
legit.
later
Yep.
in a nutshell. Let's grade this thing.
Damn. Upon repeating the ending, I realized now how
ridiculous.
anticlimactic that was.
It wasn't like anticlimactic. It was just
No,
ridiculous. Like you
yeah.
said, it's like you have these
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers all of a sudden, and they're kicking their ass. And yeah,
12-year-old just
and it-
deciding to live on his own and survive.
well, the last thing he says, like, "Hey, you want to join us? I think I
Yeah.
want to take you under my wing or something." So
But he has a
that's
sinister look to it.
yeah, and that's where you were saying that there might be other movies, and it
movies,
leaves it
yeah.
open to some future thing. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Maybe like a TV show where it's
I heard
28
there was a
hours.
spin-off.
in-
Yeah.
every 28 hours to 28 episodes. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna grade this first.
All right, go for it.
Like I said, the first half of the movie I thought was fucking fantastic. I loved it, man. I was like, this is one of the best zombie movies in a long time. Like, I really enjoyed it, and then it just
zombies.
got so ridiculous, where it lost me so bad. I still think the movie is good overall. I love the style. I think Danny Boyle is a great director. You can just see his style every time he makes a movie. So I like all that. But yeah, it really lost me. Man, I'm between like a C+ and B-.
Oh.
But I'm going to go with a B- just because I think the kills and the technical quality of the movie is really good. It's just the writing was off. That third act was so off. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen.
B- for me.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go with a B.
B?
Solid B, because for the same reasons, there were some aspects in the third act that brought it down for me, but because they have the creative freedom.
Yeah.
We're talking about a world where it's been 28 years since this unimaginable virus broke out on a secluded island where they've had to survive, and there's generations of kids that have grown up with no knowledge of what it was like prior to this. I mean,
That's
Spike
true.
himself doesn't know what a cell phone and a smartphone is. We get that from his interaction with Eric. Eric, who still lives in the regular world, talks about a life where he could have been a delivery boy and his stuck in traffic, and Spike is like, I don't know what any of that fucking means, because he truly doesn't. And because of that, I was able to be a little bit more loose on my belief of what would fly in that time. Okay, maybe this kid who didn't grow up with horror movies to know you don't walk into the weird sound coming from the dark. This kid who grew up without internet and without knowledge
all
of
that
these
stuff,
things.
All that stuff is fine.
But that stuff is what made it more acceptable for me in the third act to be like, why would you take this child with you? And I get what you're saying.
Why would you stop to help the infected give birth?
Yeah. Yeah, honestly. I mean, the mom's choice to do that, I don't agree with. But what happened after that, I was like, okay, I guess you have a fucking baby and it looks fine. It's not infected. And I like that about this movie, this universe, is that you pretty much know right away if they're infected or not.
Yeah.
It's not like other zombie movies where you can get bitten and hide it for a few days or a few hours before the symptoms start kicking in.
Mm-hmm.
If
It's
I
fast.
encounter someone and they're talking to me and they're not vomiting blood, then I don't
You're
have to
good.
screen you.
Yeah.
I don't have to. So I like that aspect, and it made the third act more believable for me. So yes, it brought it down a grade just because of the things that you mentioned, but not a lot to where it went down to a low B or high C. I give it a solid B, man.
B. All right, sounds
a solid
good.
B.
All right. So I'm gonna go
B
with
and
B
B
minus. B and B minus
That
for
averages out to
for
an A.
us. Well, tell us what you think about 28 years later. Did you say it average? I totally missed that.
No, that's what it averages out to an A.
Please tell us what you thought about 28 years later. Make sure you keep it to 28 characters.
Comments.
Everything has to be in 28.
Everything in 28.
Yes, yes.
Tell us.
We didn't keep this in 28 minutes though. We failed.
We can edit it down. We can cut out a lot of this episode to make it 28 minutes long. But
I did enjoy. I want to thank our producer Noel for being so wonderful and putting up the
man.
stuff, and also our audience member who just left. She just totally.
She bounced.
Yes.
If there was any indication of what the audience is gonna be like, you'll enjoy a solid 17 minutes.
All right. Yes. And please like and subscribe. And as always,
Have a dark night.